Let's start our wonderful journey together. So my name is Virág Zsár. Most probably you have already seen my name at some emails, some instructions, some reimbursement form, or whatever. I work as Senior Grant Advisor at HETFA Research Institute. Let me extremely warmly welcome all of you at our event, where we host 60 RM Roadmap ambassadors from 37 countries all across Europe. Our aim is to prepare you for your intermediary role between the national research, innovation, management and support communities, as well as the EU-level initiatives. First and foremost, I would like to give the floor to welcome you as well to our Head of Division for International Cooperation at HETFA, Renata Anna Jaksa. So Renata, please.
Thank you, Virág. So, as Virág said, welcome. Good morning to everyone. We are so happy to have so many of you here in Budapest, in person with us, and also in line joining us via Zoom. I won't be speaking longly. I would like to first just say a couple of words about HETFA to help you get more familiar with the organization that we are, which is basically an independent think tank based in Budapest, Hungary. Started out in 2009. And it started out as an institute working with classic socioeconomic research and policy analysis. And as we built the institute year by year and stage by stage, more and more divisions and more activities were included to the field and to the profile of the organization. Today, we have several different divisions working from climate issues to social policy evaluation to territorial and regional and urban analysis. So we cover a wide range of fields. And in order to cater all of those different research topics and to make good use of the multidisciplinarity that we can use from the Institute's staff and external experts' knowledge base, we have learned to build more and more on international cooperation projects. So we are active in various fields, various grant types, various international tenders and cooperation. And also we keep a good connection and a good client base with the original clients who were national and domestic, regional policy actors, policy makers who are in desperate need of always to have good and sound evidence in terms of policy planning and to have very good research outputs in terms of how to plan and move and go ahead. And I would like to tell you that when I started out, I have been trained as an economist, and when I started out, everything was about, everyone was so positive and very, very perspectful in terms of having the Lisbon agenda just freshly set out, and the half of Eastern Europe being candidate countries and being hopeful prospective members of the European Union. Things were seeming also lightful, and there were a couple of things on this agenda that we were to be fulfilling in the close future. One of them was to reach the 3% rate of GDP related rate, the GERD, R&D expenditure related to GDP. So that was the target that was set like more than 2 decades ago, and still Europe hasn't reached that goal. There were several approaches, several policies, several instruments, and steps have been taken forward, but we are still way beyond the place that was foreseen to be filled in. And I think that there are different players on the geopolitical arena. There are different crises and shocks coming day by day, black swans swimming into our pool on a yearly basis. So we definitely have to make sure that we grab research, development, and innovation in the right way so that Europe can move forward. So I hope that that new way of grabbing the topic will be in the hands of research managements and administrators, that the road to be taken is the roadmap that's devised among other instruments within this project. So let's hope that this meeting is fruitful and will not only be enjoyable for each of us, but also helps the main goal to proceed, and we have something contributing to the European research area. Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot, Renata, for these nice words and the short introduction as well. I'm also happy to tell you that besides our distinguished ambassadors, we are also having here our RM roadmap partners, as well as the representatives of the Hungarian research management innovation community. And just giving the floor to our distinguished speakers, first and foremost, I would like to welcome and introduce to you Dr. László Lengyel, who is the Vice President of the National Research Development Innovation Office in Hungary. He is quite familiar, I think, with our community and the support that we can provide to researchers and innovators, because formerly he was also the head of the Center for Industry and Academia Cooperation at the University of Technology and Economics in Budapest. So, Dr. Lengyel, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I would like also welcome all of you here in beautiful Budapest. I'm sure that you will enjoy these 2 days and enjoy each other's experience and stories from the research management. So you are research managers and ambassadors of research, a lot of good people. So I can imagine what Borbála at our university does and how the researchers and even the deans and the rector is satisfied with her work. So many good people here. I think it will be really good. So my background, as mentioned, I am from the computer science field, but I used to manage a team at the Technical University, and we have dealt with startups, also with the European Union projects, with the patent management and this type of things. And here in the current position with the research and innovation management, with the government, we are working that not only one or few of the universities, but several of the universities cooperate with you, with international partners, and also the research network cooperate with you as innovation and network partners. So I would like to share you with something which would be my contribution to your work here, because originally it was the plan that I would grade you tomorrow, and I will at the Technical University as well, but the organizers mentioned that I have only a few minutes there. But here they mentioned that here I have almost 10 minutes, so I have written something for you, maybe just learn from each other, and my contribution to your work is an analogy between the software industry and the research management. So in the software industry and the research management, I see several similarities. The first thing is the changing requirements. Always changing requirements. Also, the second thing is the changing environments, and we do not see it ahead. And we do not see what our research results will be and how they will configure the future research and also the research management, your work. So in the software industry, there are design and management methods. And when I'm saying software design, then you can replace it with research management. So I would like to mention 3 different methods. The first one is the code and fix, the second is the plan design, and the third will be the evolutionary design. The first, the code and fix. Just code, and then when you see that something is not working, then fix it. And again, code and fix it. And you can imagine the final quality of this type of products. The second is the plan design. in this case, we think out the big issues in advance. The designers are thinking on large scale. And here the first thought is that it's not possible to think through all the details, all the issues that we should have dealt during the programming. And that is also the big problem, the changing requirements, because in software industry, the biggest one is the always changing requirements, the customers themselves. Without the customers, everything would be happy. But yes, there are there, and we should deal it. So indeed, we prefer this planned design comparing to the code and fix, but we still need something more. And here is the place when we see the evolutionary design. So there is the room for some planning before the whole project. Then we think in iterations, and before each iteration, we are also designing. And after we achieving the results during this one iteration, then we refactoring it. We modify the things without the functionality just to increase the inner quality. And this is the thing I would like to share with you, that in this case, the design is happening in 3 different phases. And I hope that this is also true, and I see that this is also true in the research management. Design before the whole project, design before each iteration, and do not forget to refactor, redesign some things, let's say the inner quality, with the goal that later iterations will be easier to achieve. This is one thing I would like to wanted to share with you. And the second thing, the value of the simplicity regarding to the software industry. The first thing here is do the simplest thing that could possibly work. And do not create craft, but create the simplest thing that has inner quality and could work. Do not overcomplicate it. This is the first message. And the second message is that you are not gonna need it. We know it as Yagni. This is a theorem here in software design, because if you design something and do some work which will be necessary only tomorrow, then you take the time from the activity which is necessary today. So in software industry, we have learned not to do nothing for tomorrow, because maybe the plan will be changed and this work will not be necessary. And in order to work, and here is my point, in order to work, to make this evolutionary design work, we need to force it. And you are the people who are forcing it. This force can only come from people. This is the statement. Somebody on the team must have the determination to ensure that the design quality stays high. So it depends on the people. This is so important that I will repeat it. So the force can only come from people. Somebody on the team must have the determination to ensure that the design quality stays high. So the design quality means the inner setup of a project, the inner working methods, because when the setup, when the design is appropriate, then the project will have future. And let's say so much about the design and the value of simplicity. Also, I have good materials related to the high quality software and so things, but maybe next time I will share it with you. Now, I would like to wish you best practices and several powerful patterns that you will share with each other, and enjoy yourself here in Budapest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lengyel, for your very concrete example and very important messages. I think we have already some takeaways. But now I would like to give the floor to our next speaker from the European Commission, Stijn Dollery, who is currently working as policy officer at the Director General for Research and Innovation at the Research and Innovation Actors and Research Career Unit. But I can also tell you a hint that he was previously a research manager at one of the Belgian universities. So Stijn, please share with us your presentation, your thoughts about ERA Action 17.
Thank you, Virag. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear Renata, thank you. Where are you? Thank you very much for hosting us here. And dear Laszlo, I very much like the analogy with evolutionary design. I very much like what you said also about the centrality of people. Today, it's the anniversary, the 73rd anniversary of the Schuman Declaration. We are celebrating unity, and we are united here, 37 countries, it's incredible. I would like to thank Nick, Borana, Virag, and all the colleagues from RM Roadmap to realize this gathering. I would like to congratulate all RM Roadmap ambassadors for making it here and for engaging with us, because you will be a crucial asset for the research management profession in Europe in the years to come. We are united here, and this group has a very good outreach, I was told, for mainstream research management and administration, but also a lot of professionals working in knowledge and technology transfer, data stewards, experts in open science, innovation brokers, research infrastructures, experts, and so on. We have colleagues in the group from Ukraine, which is absolutely great. Some other colleagues in this audience did huge efforts to book their travel despite very short notice, like colleagues from Serbia, Romania, for which we thank you very much. Some colleagues have a dual role. They are researcher and research manager, which is extremely impressive. For instance, colleagues from the Western Balkans, and yet you are keen to build up together with us the research management and administration community. Ladies and gentlemen, the European Commission is looking forward to the results of your future efforts in engaging with national policymakers, creating national communities, and professionalizing training and networking. This is highly needed. The research management profession is often overlooked, despite its vital role in supporting the research innovation cycle. We need your help to get evidence of the added value of research management to the research innovation system. We need you to help us build local communities to strengthen the research and innovation capacity. The European Commission, as well as the member states of the Union, recognize the essential role research managers play in maintaining a strong research and innovation system in Europe. This is evident in the Council conclusions on the governance of the new European research area, which emphasizes the need for a single borderless market for knowledge, for research, innovation, and technology across the EU. Now, the ERA is a process. The ideal, where member states and the Commission, together with stakeholders, build the single market for knowledge. And the ERA policy agenda, which you see here, outlines concrete actions in 4 major priorities to make this ambition real. This agenda includes Action 17, which aims to develop a research management initiative to raise the capacity of public organizations for a stronger research innovation system. It aims to contribute to strengthen the system by strengthening capacity for research management. The Council gave us very concrete goals, very concrete outcome. By end of 2024, at least 100 public research performing and research funding organizations and their staff need to be involved in the training and networking programs, and that's what we are working for. We have specific objectives in ERA Action 17. There are four gaps that were identified by colleagues of yours in an ad hoc expert group more than a year ago. We need better recognition of the profession, of the added value. for the RNI system. We need to identify skills needs as well as training needs and improve accessibility to this. And this is something we will do tomorrow. You're here to network. You're a network on its own. We need networks both at European level as in national level to support best practice exchange, especially for early career research managers. They need to have access to all the available tools, and they need to rely on expertise, experienced colleagues. In several less RNI intense regions have a lack of capacity in research management, or research managers have multiple roles. So again, a need for great access to training. Now, the ERA policy agenda went through an entire process last year with the member states and stakeholder organizations, and the council had decided that to continue with an action, at least 50% of the member states needed to commit to it. So especially for Action 17, this was a difficult journey because many member states were doubtful about what the added value of research management is. So, but in the end, 15 member states committed, and in addition, 5 other member states decided to follow the actions very closely and may commit later. I have understood that there is a 16th country who is about to commit. So things are moving. But indeed, during this process last year, several member states said, we do not understand what research management is. What is it? Why do we need to invest in it? The focus in what you propose as Commission is too much focused on grants administration. We also need to talk about leadership. We cannot commit to invest in capacity. Some member states said it is not a priority, or we do not have the resources to follow up. Other member states were very much convinced from the start, say it is an essential action for a very strong RNI system. Excellence is everywhere, excellent researchers are everywhere, but what is often lacking in RNI, less RNI intensive regions, is a research management capacity. We need this action because we need a better recognition of the profession. And very interesting, several member state representatives said to us, because of the investigation internally, due to Action 17, we discovered that we have a national network, an informal one already. So a lot of things were moving in our country that we didn't know of. So Action 17, which is called the Research Management Initiative, has these 4 objectives and a lot of activities that we are trying to roll out since this year. On recognition, we are aiming for initiatives for diverse careers to promote professionalization and for awarding the profession properly. But also awareness raising. You have seen the different voices from member states. There is a lot of awareness creation needed both at government level, at governance level of organizations. Upskilling is needed. We want to define skills. We want to develop curricula. We want to get better accessibility to available training programs. Fill gaps where there are gaps in training needs. For networking, we want to support both EU and national networks, and therefore also we have RM Roadmap. Grateful for the immense progress RM Roadmap has made so far. And then capacity building, so again, the accessibility, but we want to install new initiatives as well. The tools that, if I may say so, that we have at our disposal are 3 great sponsors, supporters of the action, who take the lead by example, which are Germany, Hungary, and Aurora Universities Network. And I want to thank all of these 3 very much for the immense progress that we have made so far in the past 6 months. We have 2 pilot projects, RM Roadmap, you're a part of it, and Cardea. Cardea is a complementary project which focuses more on the HR, but is working in parallel, basically. We have commission experts. We organize workshops like the one tomorrow, where you are very much invited, together with ERA Forum delegates from member states and stakeholders. And of course, we can rely on all of your national and local expertise. We are collecting with the projects and with the workshops evidence of the added value, evidence of the needs and the challenges. These will design recommendations to member states and to the EU level for both policy and program actions in the years to come. We have a work program in Horizon Europe where we can use actions, but we're also looking for policy measures. ERA is about the national level as well. So far we had one workshop on recognition of the profession in March, and tomorrow we will have the second workshop on upskilling. We will have a first set of recommendations that we are preparing, and we will report back to the main ERA Forum. The ERA Forum is the implementation body of the policy agenda, which consists of, it's an expert group, a formal expert group, which helps monitoring the follow-up, but also makes decisions on actions that can be taken. So we will come up with the first set of recommendations on the two of the 4 objectives we had. We plan another workshop on capacity building later this year and a second set of recommendations. And the second set will also be important because currently the member states and the Commission are engaging in the design of the next ERA policy agenda. The current one runs until 24, and then we will have a new one for another 3 years. So it's important that we come up with good results and make sure to make the case for the next policy agenda. So clear needs and follow-up. Just a picture from the first workshop, and several of the colleagues present here were also present there. Conclusions on recognition of the profession were to keep a broad scope. We have multi-dimensions in the profession. I've mentioned it in the introduction. We have support managers, we have leaders, we have data stewards, we have innovation brokers, and so on. We need to collect more evidence. We need to collect good stories, success stories. And that's what you are here for as well. Your stories matter. We need to show to the member states why we need to invest collectively in research management. So that's for some small conclusions from the previous workshop, but the work is not ended. We have no doubt that your hard work in raising awareness and on the important role of research management will be instrumental to achieve the expected results like the Council wanted. And there is a strong momentum here that we shouldn't lose. My director said 2 weeks ago at the EARMA conference, the Commission is with you, and I can assure you we are with you. There's a lot of attention to research managers these days, and there are also a lot of funding opportunities. You have a look, you can talk to me if you're looking for this as well. We very much look forward to the results of RM Roadmap and to the future activities of this group of ambassadors in networking, in upskilling, in raising awareness, in building capacity, be the game changer that the European research innovation system needs. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the meeting, and happy Europe Day.
Thank you very much, Stein, for this wonderful introduction as well. I just want to underline that we are really at the moment when we get the opportunity, which is outstanding, to feed our experiences and our needs to policy making. So we just shouldn't miss this. It's also pressure and also a burden, but we have to exploit this, I'm sure. I'm sure you might have also some questions. If you have, please note them down. All of you must have received some wonderful notebooks from the project with all project partner logos. So please note them down, and after the presentations, I will give the floor to you to ask everything with regard to the presentations, of course, from our speakers. And now I will move forward and ask Nick Clayson, the Managing Director of IARMA, to present our project, RM Roadmap, and share our vision with you and our main activities. And of course, later on, we will go into the details. So Nick, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to this lovely meeting. Thank you for HEDVA and the Hungarian partners and sponsors for supporting this and organizing this. I'm going to give you now a short introduction to RM Roadmap. And the rest of the schedule today, there will be quite a lot more information to follow. So I'm Nick, I'm the Managing Director of IARMA now for about 6 years, living, breathing research management, big enthusiast. So it's really great to see all of you come together here and us having this great opportunity and moving forward together. It all starts with this very important question: what is research management? Or is it research management and administration? Or is it research support? Or is it researchers on the interface of science? Or is it this or that? Or research advisors? Is it science management? It's a really complex question with a lot of layers. That's one of the things that we want to be doing. We want to be giving answers, right? We want to be giving answers as an Action 17, as a Cardea project, RM Roadmap project. We're trying to find and lay the groundwork for us to move forward to what was described by the Commission a moment ago: professionalization, recognition. It all starts with who we are, because if we cannot say who we are, nor the term of our profession, then how will we convince those that are not in our niche, that maybe don't know about our niche, but that are very important, like policymakers, research performing organizations? How will we show them what the value is and show them how they can benefit from research management and show how Europe can benefit from research management? So a crucial question to start with. Then I go to the current situation in Europe, which has a lot of question marks on this slide. It has a lot of question marks because there are a lot of question marks. Like I said, the term, but also how does it work in each country? I get asked quite a bit as the European, as being from the European Association, by people not from the continent even, what's research management like in Europe? And what's it like in the Nordic countries, or in the Balkans, or in France, or in Spain? And it is an almost impossible question at the moment. Will we solve everything with this project? Likely no, but we need to progress this. So you understand that it's the profession or the space where we are. We have a huge opportunity now, but there is a lot of work. There is a lot of work left to do there. One of the very important things to realize is that it is not the case that there is not excellent research management in Europe. It is not the case that we are not doing well, but we are trying to make it more accessible, to build capacity, to make the system stronger as a whole. And there I really like the analogy that was put forward by the Vice President just a moment ago about computer science, and especially about computer science and the code and fix. So in some cases we are in code and fix. We're trying to do something that is valuable, it doesn't work, and we fix it. And people are there to fix it. Some have gone to the level, or in some cases you are at the level where you are designing, where it is much more prepared, but we need to try to make that a better, more structured situation. So the current situation is that we have too little information for policy-making purposes. We want to know what's going on in the different countries, what's going on across Europe. We also don't have a common term, like I said, research management, science management, research management and administration, and so on. No common definition nor segmentation of what falls under this big group of research management, being data stewards, being people to do with communication, proposal writers, project managers, knowledge brokers, knowledge transfer experts, and so on and so on and so on. It is a very big group. So how do we marry that with research management, what it means, and also especially how do we bring that understanding to people who are not day-to-day involved, because it's already difficult for our group, let's say, for our niche, for research managers to identify it, to give an explanation about it, but we have to get also awareness to the larger system. There is no standardization, of course. There is a standardization in some cases for some organizations, and it's also quite unclear how many research managers there are, but it is a large group, and that we are quite certain of. There's also a lack of awareness with a number of the target groups of the RM Roadmap project, with policymakers, with researchers. I know some of these are overlapping, but I'm just trying to put into your mind some of the people that we need to be speaking to as a community to be able to advance. Policymakers, researchers, also research managers. In my estimation, most research managers don't know that they are research managers. Normally, you will not really find that in this group because you are more networked, you are more active, you're working at the national level in a connecting role in a lot of cases. Research funding organizations are crucial. Research performing organizations, obviously the leadership there, how does it relate to the researchers and the research managers? Ministries, the governmental level, the political level also up to a degree, which I consider there also through the ministries mainly, and other stakeholders. So this lack of awareness is there. And again, it's a very complex picture. There are a lot of policymakers that know very well what needs to happen and have done great things, but it's not shared across Europe everywhere. It's not accessible enough. So here comes RM Roadmap. So what do we want to try to do to make this situation I have just shown a better place? We want to connect new and existing networks on a community platform, and this relates very closely to what your role as ambassadors will be, to create a bottom-up consensus of what the way forward is. It's RM Roadmap, a roadmap for research management, a plan for the future. How do we get from where we are now, which is unclear, which we are trying to make clearer, to what this future recognition and professionalization could be? And what there is now, that's point number 2, what is already existing in training, networking, funding, and mobility opportunities? It was just said by Steen from the Commission as well. You can contact me to see there's quite a lot of opportunities already. There are national opportunities. So there's quite a bit out there, but it's not always accessible. So we want to make that more accessible. And then this very important part, which you have on the left part of the slide, is to clarify the role and the potential of research managers to contribute to the European research area, but really to any national or otherly defined R&I system, right? So what are we adding to that system? We'll look at a number of things, these 4 for sure. So how do we support researchers and how does this add value to researchers? Do they get more? And that's what we are, I think, convinced about, but needs an evidence base. How do we give researchers more time for research? That must be one of the key things our community does. How do we work, or how do we add efficiency and effectiveness to the system, quality control, trust and accountability? We'll be looking at a much longer list, but this is a really crucial thing. We must show the value proposition of our community. Then I'm moving on to the consortium. So the consortium led by IARMA, so by my organization, the European Association of Research Managers and Administrators, by our knowledge transfer equivalent, if I can put it in that way, ASTP. Then we have 3 research performing organizations who are closely linked, or who were closely linked, still are of course, but to the Best Prac network, which many of you might know, which was a cost-funded project, but which is now a thematic group of IARMA. And there's some of the organizations representing Best Prac, but also working in their own right, are HEDVA, who are kindly hosting this meeting, NOVA in Lisbon, the Cyprus Institute in Cyprus, of course, and then Crowd Helix, which is our partner for dissemination and impact acceleration. We'll tell you more about that throughout the day. We also want to make sure that we stay up to date with what's happening in university alliances, and we have the help of Una Europa to help us do that, and also that we try to speak in a similar way, or at least in a good way, connected to business. I mean, the terminology there, Janssen Pharmaceuticals of Johnson & Johnson. Now, what's special about this project? We're going to try to use all of the classical ways of moving forward with such a project: surveys, desk research, focus groups, and interviews. But really the emphasis, and this is why you are here today as ambassadors, is on the co-creation. So we want this project, and this is how we started, and what I should have said also on the previous slide. So what are these mainly? BestPrac, IARMA, ASTP, CrowdHelix. These are networks, right? We are trying to work through networks and networks of networks. And why are we trying to do that? Because the co-creation is so important within our project. We want to not say as a small group of people towards the council, towards the commission who have put forward that there must be a pilot project. We don't want to say this is our opinion based on our desk research, based on some of the other things. Of course, we want to include these elements, but we want to say across Europe, this is what there is now, and this is a vision that people have in different countries, what research management is and where it should go. So we want to co-create this with you. And to be able to do that, that is a huge, huge task. I think a very ambitious task which we need help with, and which we need the national associations, networks, or people that want to work for research management in the countries to come forward. This is this ambassador group. And it was also said here after or during the analogy with computer science and the coding, the force is the people. Here again, we are relying on the communities and the people to see that there is a huge opportunity here to move with this policy momentum and to move forward. Co-creation. I'll be coming back to this in a lot also in future presentations here throughout today. The idea is that we have national and thematic groups. So now these ambassadors, you all here, it is about national groups. So we have, I think, 40 countries in total. I think 37 represented here. So in total, over 100 ambassadors and associate ambassadors. We're going to give on our platform, and I'll run through it later on, everybody a place on a community space to be able to take part in this co-creation. So what can you expect from RM Roadmap? I said it really already, a community perspective from across Europe. We want to give you the chance to speak to the community, to Europe, to the European Commission, right, as with our project as a vehicle, but also very much to your national systems. And this is crucial because most of you are closely linked in, hired by, with funding of the national level. And the game changer is really at the national level. There's good momentum at the European level, and I think wonderful things are happening there, but the national level is crucial. That's why it's also so hyper important that this is embedded within the European research area, but also for those of you, and you know, a lot of you are not coming from member states, the same applies. This is also an opportunity to look at, to give your opinion, to establish a network, to get networked across Europe, and to go to your policymakers, both internally in your organizations, within your funding organizations, with your government, and say, this is what's happening, this is what's happening, this is what we can do as a community, and we have a lot of value to bring to the table. So a term and definition of research management based on this co-creation is what you can expect, along with other methods that I've shortly touched upon. Then thought leadership also on the role and especially the value proposition. I said quite a bit about this already. We need to show not only to ourselves, but to the system, what can we bring to the table? How can we improve the system? And that is crucial to a crucial message and awareness to be raised with those actors in the system. Also, there will be an overview of the training, networking, mobility, and funding opportunities now. So what is there already? We're looking closely to the Cardea project also, which we are collaborating with to deliver this. And then in the end, a plan, a roadmap to enable a game changer to take place. So to the benefit of researchers, but the research and innovation system as a whole. We want to create a plan of where are we going. We want to give you the opportunity and the European community as a whole, the opportunity to say to the policy makers, to say to the system, this is what we see. Of course, the policy makers, the political level will decide what they will do. But we as a community have a big golden opportunity to now say, this is how we see it, this is what we can offer, and please be in contact with us. So what is the roadmap also? It's a plan of how to improve the European research area and overall European R&I system by the means of research management. I said that. A plan to raise awareness, a plan based on these pillars. Also, we want to be very close to Action 17 and what is needed there, based on upskilling, networking, recognition, and capacity building. Also, a plan to make all the actors of the R&I system realize what research management can do for them. We want to get out of this project a researcher, get a message to a researcher. This can really help you. This can give you more time for research. This can make it easier for you to implement projects. This can make it easier for you to get funding. It will be more reliable. I always say there is a difference between, for a researcher, between having an ethics advisor and being an ethics advisor and trying to figure out everything, or having somebody who can help you with that. We need to show policymakers that they can make their policy goals, that the public research performing organizations, how can they be useful, and how can their activities be upgraded by using research management? What is it also? We are trying within our project to prioritize long-term high impact. We're trying to prioritize long-term high impact over within the project, training a number of people, raising awareness. We're doing this especially also, but we're trying to create the preconditions for a long-term game changer. Those preconditions being, who are we? What can we bring to the table? Who should we contact with what type of message? That is how we're going to create it. You'll also hear more about dissemination and impact acceleration. That's why we have the Helix. The Helix is a tool where you can log in, register, and get all of the information that you need from the project. So the outcomes of our project, you will not only be able to get via going to the website, by the reports that are there, via social media, but also by an interactive community, which is the Helix, which we will explain more about. Here you have a number of links that can give you more information. I also, and you will receive these, the slides. I've added this because we are not really doing an in-depth technical review of the project here, but we're trying to focus on what is your role of ambassadors and how do you contribute to the overall picture. You'll be able to see here, it's a very nicely designed chart by our colleague Olaf Svenningsen, where you see the major objectives. You can see the partners, what they're doing in which work package, with which deliverables and milestones, so you also get a better idea of how technically the project will run. Okay, with that, I thank you, and I will be back for more information on the project. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Nick, for the quick introduction on the project. Of course, you will be able to learn much more and more in depth on that. But first, it was important to see the vision. And as it was already mentioned, we are having a sister project called Cardea. And we are also pleased to have here the representative of this project, Eduardo Balbuena Longo, who will tell a few words about their project, what they are doing, what are their activities, and also the first results, if I'm right. And what is important and what I would like to highlight with that regard, to give you some clue, is that there is close cooperation and collaboration among these two projects to ensure that we are not coming up with different results, but we are doing the same efforts to the same directions. And this is why Eduardo is also an advisory board member of our project. So Eduardo, please.
Well, thank you very much, Virak, and thank you very much. First of all, just to acknowledge the Commission for having us the opportunity to be here and cooperate with the Earn Roadmap project. This is very important. Also, we are very happy of the collaboration we have started with the Earn Roadmap and all the different things. I'm very happy to look at all the people here, so it is a privilege just to share time with our Earn Roadmap ambassadors, as in my case, as a member of the advisory board. I'm also here for giving a complementary voice. It's the voice of the human resources approach, and also the voice of the employers in some cases, because we are research centers, and the research centers must have also voice in relation to the professionals that are working there. In our research centers, we have researchers also, we have technicians, and we have research managers. So different approaches for this kind of initiative. From this side, I'm also the strategic project manager of the CERCA Institute. I will show you something about our institution just to have the idea for you that we are speaking out with this voice. On the other hand, I'm associate professor of the Autonomous University of Barcelona, so I'm also a researcher, so I have different hats at the time. Just really fast. Just to explain you about our CERCA Institute. CERCA Institute is a CERCA system. CERCA system is composed of a CERCA Institute and 41 research centers. So we are in the employers. We have around, this is a legal recognition that the Catalan law of science. We are 41 institutes recognized at the top level at the Spanish and some at the international level also. Yeah, we are around 15,000 people with nearly 2,000 research managers. This is interesting just to interact with which is our position. We are a lot of papers. We are members of COARA also, just so recently. Collaboration, very international collaboration. We have funds. We have multiplier effect of our money from the Catalan government, about 374 euros by each euro invested. We have a lot of patents and companies. We have 188 companies involved, so this is also related with the connection you said before about the market and the research. And it's very interesting field that we are one of the best players in Europe as an aggregate form. And this is very interesting just to know that we have more than 1,200 projects, 250 participation in the European Research Council projects, and more than 553 million euros from the Horizon 2020. So they are consolidating data. If we are looking at Europe, the health system is the first one. It is curious because the problem of the health system, like the CERCA system, is that we are a distributed system. So we have not only one number, we are a system, recognized system in our countries, but in the dashboard, maybe they don't appear because they are not only one bad number like CNRS or THEA or Fraunhofer, for example. So, but it's important just to know what is the reality of our system. So health is the first one. We are in the 6th position around Europe. So very interesting questions. From this point, we also have a strong commitment about the resource managers and a strong commitment about the training and the career development of the managers. So that was the reason, because we together with other people that is involved in the executive boards of the human resources strategy for researchers, we entered into this call of the European Commission. This is a call, the Commission, and this is very important because we consider that the research managers and research support staff make a valuable but yet undervalued contribution to European research excellence. So we are very happy that the Commission understands that this is a very, very important question with the Action 17 and with all this starting approach. And we consider clearly that the importance of the research manager is going to increase in the next 10 years, especially if we want to compete with other areas in the world, China, United States, Asia, other potential competitors that are profiting maybe better than our results. So this is a question also just to consider and to work all together. From the starting of the project, all the project cycle, from the starting of the projects, just the end of the projects. So they are the CARDE approach. Our challenge for taking this, research manager roles are sometimes invisible. It depends on the centers, it depends on the systems. The policies must establish a career development scheme to promote professional progression. This is so clear for the researchers, so we want just something similar to the research managers. And also there are the consistency in salary, skills, competence, and training scores. There are countries where they are developing a lot of things, and there are countries without nothing. So we have created, from our point of view, a good consortium with a representative from universities, from research institutes, and from other kind of institutes, all us working for 4 years. Is in difference of the Roadmap project is 3 years. We have 4 years in this case. From different countries, we have here Ireland, Greece, Italy, Catalonia, Spain, Croatia, Romania, Belgium, and Poland. So we have a proven track record. It's not related with networking. Of course, we are in some international organizations, but from our case, with the point of view of the projects, we have the HR Excellence of Research. Remember that all the research centers, CERCA centers, have awarded this seal, this HR Excellence in Research seal. All the CARDEA members are it. We are Euraccess centers also in 40, we are related, all the members, all our institutions participating in the CARDEA projects and members, and we are more than 2,124 projects represented in our consortium, okay? 31% coordinated, so very interesting also. So our main objectives of the CARDEA, it was a good Roman goddess. This is from the Medicaid, likes this mythology question. So research managers open research doors. I think this is a good sentence just to consider. So the most important thing is, as you said before, to value our career, the progression pathways, and the research management hub. These are our objectives, more or less related, of course, with the European Commission ones, and also related with, from different point of view, with their roadmap. And this is our work packages. It's not as nice as you used before, but we will speak with Olaf also, just for improve our one. Olaf is in our advisory board, so perfect. We can prove together. So we will have 4 meetings. First one in Cork. It was a kickoff meeting. Nick was there. The second is in Pula next year. The third is in Barcelona, and the fourth will be in Brussels. Okay. So some activities we want to work, and these activities are related with the 4 pillars you are considering for the Action 17. So about recognition, about networking, about skilling, and about capacity building. What have we done during the first year of the project? The first year of the project is nearly to finish. It's the 31st of May. So the service launch, the survey report written, the advisory board in place. We have an advisory board. And of course, we have all the different methodologies you are creating here. We have communities of practices. We have not ambassadors, of course, but we have meetings of the different places and different partner. And third, the career framework, the skills and training being identified, collaborating in this case with the Roadmap project, also for creating the dashboard, in this case, unique is dashboard that we will put in our webpage. And finally, the policy, lobbying, and engagement, just working together with the Commission and the national institutions. It's very important just to consider that the national institutions in the ERA Forum must be involved in all the decisions. This is our CARDEA approach, our results. The first one is about the survey. We have now written the summary of results. 855 research managers from 43 nationalities will answer this survey. Of course, the survey is a live survey, so we will continue with different collectives. This is the overall results, and the average is 43 years. 90% has a master's or PhD, work experience. There are a lot of people with more than 10 years. There are a lot of women, more women than men. We have a PhD nearly 40%. So they are the data, the demography of our survey, okay? What is happening when we are thinking about the recognition of the profession? If you look at the overall data, only 26% around, they are thinking that the profession is well recognized. The other ones consider that it's not well recognized. So this is a question for us just to consider and what is happening here. And just the 2 projects and the Action 17 is just working in this one. So this is very interesting just to look at it is worse in Europe, but it's worse in the rest of the world. So the data are really, really significant. More questions. So do you feel the organization values and recognize your contribution to research management appropriately? 50% said no. So this is a question from the employers and from the professionals just to think what is happening. Do you have opportunities to contribute to the organization? 50% yes, 50% no. Is progression available to you? It is very important also. 74% said no. So this is a question just to consider at policy level, but also to the employers level. It's just the reason that maybe it is necessary also the participation of the employers, more participation of the employers in data forum actions and something related with this. So have you been promoted? 50% said no. And this, remember that this is experienced people, the median, the average is experienced people, so this is our reality. And about the personal development plans, 45% said no, I have no personal development plans. 40% said they have. So the changes wanted in the next year for the people that is in the survey said that they want recognition, they want a career pathway, they want definition of roles, they want appreciation, to have a framework about it, and a visibility of their contribution. So from Cardea approach, we will follow with our webpage. Here's our coordinator, Mary-Kate. She will be tomorrow for the Action 17 so that's Action 17 event, and also is our executive director, Yus Rovira, that is participating in the Prague conference. So it's interesting because we have prepared, we have done an advisory board that is working now, and it will be have a meeting together so soon about just the validation of the first year of the different questions and just to start in the next works in the future. There are people from Europe, from the companies, and from Uruguay, for example. So it's interesting about the international point of view. We have advanced also in the what is the definition of the research manager. It's also important to consider. This is one proposal we can do. These proposals are corresponding with our communities of practices. In CERCA Institute, we have 10 communities of practices, so they are more or less related with this. Of course, it's open question just to consider, but and we will together, also with the Commission, just because it is very important just to define at all Europe and all Europe to consider which one is a resource manager or not. For us, all of them are resource managers, okay? So later on we can advance in definition. And this definition is working together with the European Commission, is working together with other associations or entities important here. ARMA is included in the RN roadmap, but INORS, OECD, Science Europe, what is the funders, for example, COARA on for the evaluation or about the management at the overall level. So this is the definition now we have in the Cambridge Dictionary of what is a research manager. It's someone in an organization whose job to manage the development of new products of India. It was curious. It's one definition. Maybe, of course, it's not our definition. But it is interesting also that the research managers are appearing now in the new laws, legislation that we are developing. Here, this is from Italy, for example, from the National Plan of Research of Italy appears the word research managers, and they are giving a small definition. So now, in our project, we are collecting these potential definitions for different countries, or this potential place where the research managers' words appear in the laws or in the plans, just to have all the view in Europe, okay? It was our proposal of research management career, the four different steps. This is so similar to the careers related to the researchers. In our case, we have two proposals. The first one is following more or less the European Research Council names. It could be one proposal. Of course, it is related with this proposal is also just the consideration that the training must be related with this. And maybe just to pass to one category to the other one is necessary training. Maybe this is a question just to consider also for the researchers in the future, because the researchers, they are working with people, they are managing people, but they don't have the skills for having this, especially when you are passing from M3 to M4 or to M1 to M2. So, or to M2 to M3, M3 to M4. So this is a question just to look, not only for research managers, of course, but also for researchers. The other proposal is so more or less the same. We have started writing a document that we will share with Earn Roadmap also, related with this change. Was my proposal at that time with Mary Kate towards an European framework for research careers, now towards a new document, European framework to research manager careers. They are the names that appear there. These names appear, so are related with the researcher's document, so they are the two approaches we can consider. Following, skills and training. This is the abilities that our survey consider that are interesting for having a project manager, the skills, the soft skills that we need. And it is very interesting here just to look at which are the research managers considering that is important for their work. So the transversal skills, relationship management, project management. And it's most interesting that this blue one, because they said that their organizations are not giving them the abilities or the training about it. So yes, there are some proposals just for finishing. Yes, we can always, of course, start working together. This is some research mobility barriers that appear also in our research, in our survey about the funding availability, maintenance, something that we must correct altogether. Okay. There are barriers to immigration. This is a question just to consider because there are some new legislation to help researchers to come here, to come to Europe or to move around the world, but it's not the same legislation for the research managers. And it's a question just to consider. Also about how to change from public and private, for example, in the same state or not, which is the main drivers about it. And something just to finish about the research management policy. We have different events and so on, the idea. Of course, we need to correct all this for the future. We need just to share these our ideas and roadmap ideas with all around Europe, all kind of organizations. And finally, it was used reference in Prague, and yes, it's question just to consider what is happening to have a common instrument for European Management Council or resource managers. This is only figures we can consider. Sometimes there are a lot of opportunities that said before, but maybe there are two possibilities. One possibility is that all these organizations on the schemes now, they are considering also the possibility that resource managers will participate or have specific programs inside, or maybe the question is just to consider an European Management Council or something related, because the numbers are so clear. So we have the European Research Council with a lot of money for researchers, no research managers here. A lot of money for the Marie Sklodowska, mainly for researchers. This is the definition. Of course, it is possible that we have a RISE project or an ITN project or for including or co-fund project including research managers, but really it's not possible because in the evaluation said no. We can try it, and the evaluation said not, except maybe one project could be possible. For example, for research infrastructures, I know that is from Germany, but this is not common thing, so this is a question to consider. Also, just to use the Erasmus Plus program for consider more about the research managers. Also, this is the Widera program, and whereas the only place where it's a specific program where research managers can participate, that is the ERA Talents. So this question is only for widening countries, so not for the other countries. So just it's a question also to consider. And just to finish, just to think that we need to consider also the collaboration for the next year. That is this project. That is the only one project for the next year. And then we hope just starting working together between the two projects of this year, from Cardea and Roadmap, to profit the results we have and to have more news or points of views for the European Commission, to help the European Commission and the national states just to view what is the good way just to follow it. And this is my presentation. This is in Hungarian, I think so. It's thank you. So thanks a lot for.
Thank you very much, Eduard, for the very good food for further thoughts and sharing all these preliminary results and potential funding opportunities for research managers. So I would like to thank again for all our speakers, their presentations, and all the useful ideas. We will have a number of occasions to discuss them further, but now I would like to give the floor to the questions. So if you have any questions, please introduce yourself, your name, where are you coming from, ask your question and address the speaker to whom you want to dedicate your question. So I'm just looking around if there are any immediate questions. Oh yes, over there. Please use the microphone. We need it for the sake of the streaming.
Thank you. Hello, I come from Turkey, although it is not on the map in one of the presentations. We're like bats, you know, not mammals, not birds, somewhere in the middle. I have something like 30 years of research management experience. I'm a researcher. Just one little comment that about 10 years ago, European Patent Office, EPO, it had initiated a similar project where they were trying to create awareness of IPR in European universities. And we had managers, and we decided to create a roadmap in different European universities, in different European countries. And I was coordinating the roadmap in Turkey at that time. It was a very successful project. Just wanted to comment an analogy between this initiative, which I really value. It is fulfilling an important void in the system. But that the EPO initiative was very successful. It was like a branch and leaf model, where it was initiated by EPO, and then with the national coordinators, and the national coordinators appointed other regional coordinators within their nations. It was a very successful model, so I thought maybe it would give some idea since we're at the launch of the roadmap. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing these comments. Is there any of our speakers who want to reflect on this? Yeah, Nick.
Thank you for that comment. I'm looking at Laura there also, who probably knows this project as well, or the project that was mentioned. And we're including it probably through Laura in the flow. We do have set out measures and are looking what projects are relevant to us running and past as well.
Thank you, Nick. Any other questions? Yeah, please.
Hi, good morning. My name is Maike. I'm from the German Association for Drama. My question is, there's already a very high awareness in Germany, I must say. There are quite a lot of people approach me already and say, hey, did you know who the ambassador is? I said, hey. And hey, what's in it for us? They are all very curious. So I've got the first presentation on Thursday this week about the ARM roadmap. But I'm wondering, what can I offer to all the stakeholders? How can they participate? If somebody approaches me and asks me, hey, how can I get into the project? How can I interlink with the project? What am I supposed to answer on Thursday? Thanks.
Yes, interesting question. I'll be speaking more than half an hour still in the coming sessions on stuff that will help you. We also have a presentation, which I don't know, Borana, if it is spread already, the one that is... Okay, there will be a follow-up email which will give you a standard presentation also that you can use and adapt to address whatever national forum or whoever you might want to involve. So you can use that presentation, the information from there, and the information that we are presenting today, in addition to what is on the website. But I think after today you'll have
quite some answers for them.
Thanks so much.
Meanwhile, we also received questions online. So first, I would like to give the floor to Andrea, and then we will address the questions arrived in the Zoom.
Thank you. I'm Andrea Zulem de Zwarte. I'm an ambassador for the Netherlands, also on behalf of ARMA-NL, the Dutch association. I have a question for, I think, mostly Stijn, but if anybody else wants to answer, is good. I think it's we had a really great opening, and I already see so many connections. I'm wondering whether what kind of connections are made between ERA Action 17 and other ERA actions, and not just on a policy level, but also on an implementation level, and whether there is a better connection or maybe even foresight on what we just heard from Cardia on the competences framework, because I know that was, I don't know which action it is, 3 or 7, on a researchers' competence framework, something like that. Would the competences for research managers be able to actually be brought under there? Is that also something to be considered? And that's one question. And another question which might be also linked to it is, on a national level, we see that just presenting why ERA Action 17 is important is it's sometimes overlooked, but if you put it on a higher level, because it's one of the ERA actions, so it is important for the country. All the ERA actions are important for the country, and if we as the Netherlands, we commit to so many different kind of ERA actions that we see it as a positive addition to all the ERA actions, and not just presented as a 17, and it's important for us and who we are, but also research managers and action within the whole system of ERA actions. And that will make it a little bit easier for the discussions, for example, with ministries or national funding organizations and other stakeholders. And if it's not clear, the question, please ask.
No, thank you, Andrea. Very good. So synergies and added value. Now, the synergies, there are indeed quite some links with other ERA actions from the policy agenda, especially ERA Action 4, which is about strengthening attractiveness of research careers. Indeed, we have a competence framework that is soon to be adopted or published, actually, which describes all the skills and competences researchers should or could have. Transversal skills, not only the specific research skills, but skills including research management skills. So there are quite some hooks there. Secondly, we will soon adopt a proposal for a council recommendation on attractive research careers, probably in July. Including in this council recommendation proposal, we have several hooks towards research management. It is focusing on research careers, but there are a lot of links with research management. In the first workshop of Action 17 in March, there was consensus that we should look into a separate framework for research managers. So this is something that we still need to build. But in any case, the Commission makes sure there are sufficient hooks to a framework for attractive research careers that we are about to develop. So that's one. Secondly, there are links, synergies with Action 16. Action 16 is about improving access to excellence. It's not only about widening countries, it's about excellence all over, in all regions, making organizations more research innovation intensive and so on. There are links with that as well, because Action 17 is in a way about capacity building. So Action 16 is about to start. There is a subgroup of an expert group set up for that. And then also Action 13. Action 13 is about empowering universities. And so far in the past 3 years, we have spent about 100 million to help universities at organizational, at governance level to implement priorities of the ERA policy agenda, like mainstreaming open science, strengthening research careers, reinforcing knowledge valorization, sharing capacity, sharing research infrastructures. But who is implementing this? At the organizational level, this is you. This is research managers who actually are implementing these strategies at the organizational level. So in the implementation itself, research managers are there. And so this is very important synergies. And this is also an answer to your second question on added value. In many of the ERA priorities, also for instance, the reforming of research assessment, who is doing this in practice at an organization, a research performing organization? These are research managers. So that's how you can defend it already at your government. For almost all actions in the ERA policy agenda, research managers are crucial persons to actually make it happen. It can be decided at governance level. Your rector of or president of an organization can decide, look, we are gonna reform assessment and career assessment, but who is doing it? The job itself, it's research managers. Second, on your second question as well, of course, with RM Roadmap and with Cardea, we are looking for evidence. Evidence for this added value. The evidence that the two projects will generate is rather quality evidence. We're also looking for quantity evidence. So if you have suggestions of cases where you can quantify the importance of your job, please get back to us, because that's what we need also to convince the member states for investing more in research management. We'll probably launch a study on that as well later on this year.
Fine, because the second question is for you, because I cannot see who is asking, but wants you to elaborate a bit on the RM Charter that you mentioned on one of your slides.
Yes, but that's what basically what I tried to say in the beginning. So we will have a new charter for researchers once our proposal for a council recommendation is adopted in summer. And through Action 17, we aim at building a similar charter for research managers. We're not sure we're gonna get there, but this is our aim. And we need all your help, of course, for that. We can take a bit our time. We have Cardea, we have RM Roadmap that will help us in this and defining what the skills are. Tomorrow we will have a discussion on the skills needs and the training needs. And we will continue also in the afternoon with the ERA Forum delegates exactly about this, how we can build further on a kind of framework for research management careers. I would also like, if I may, react to Edward on the opportunities, the funding opportunities for research managers. We have indeed, under the WIDERA part of Horizon Europe, opportunities for research managers. There are two parts under WIDERA. We have the widening participation part and we have the strengthening the ERA part. Under the widening part, we have opportunities also under twinning, as well as under ERA talents. And it's not entirely true that this part is only dedicated to widening countries. Yes, the coordinator needs to be from a widening country, and 2/3 of the money needs to go to widening countries. But 1/3 is for non-widening countries, okay? So you can build with ERA talents a staff and training exchange program for research managers, the way you want, okay? It is not, next year we will have the second call. In the first call, this has not been used. We didn't see any innovative approaches in the projects that were submitted. So I call upon you to look into the ERA talents option. We really opened it up to research managers. Secondly, we have under the strengthening the ERA part also an opportunity next year for professionalization of research managers. And we would like to see projects on that ensure accessibility to training and that ensure awareness creation, that there is a strategy for awareness creation at the right levels, the many levels that have been discussed by the two pilot projects. So also here a warm call to look into that call as well.
Thank you very much, Stein. Let's see the other question which arrived from the audience. So actually it's about how we can use CARDEA results within RM roadmap.
Yes, greetings also to West of Ireland. It depends a little bit what you mean with the question. One, we will definitely be looking closely at the outcomes of CARDEA, preliminary outcomes, the survey, also as it relates to skills and training. But then it depends a bit. Of course, we are using this in the RM Roadmap project. But as you say, when it comes to development of those training elements, within the project, we're making a plan, a roadmap, and not so much developing the training itself. So yes, we will take it into account. I'm not entirely sure it's exactly in the way that you mean. But obviously we are collaborating closely. As said, Olaf Svenningsen is for our roadmap in the advisory board of CARDEA, and Edward, who we saw speak, is on our advisory board for this reason.
Thank you a lot. And there is a last question before the coffee break.
I'm Elena Sultan. I'm representing Malta here today, and I would like to refer to one of the last slides of CARDEA presentations, where we discussed the funding opportunities for research managers limited to widening calls and some under the Erasmus. I would like to use this opportunity to invite you. I think it's already been conducted, the half-term review for the Horizon Europe program. So this is our opportunity to contribute to the white papers being drafted by our countries, and to mention that we need more calls for the research managers to make use of. And I think the next step is to address more calls under Marie Curie and the research infrastructures. And let's lobby, let's gather the momentum and lobby for more calls, and use this meeting to maybe to present some results of this meeting and contribute to the white papers that will lead to the contribution to the half-term review of Horizon Europe.
Actually, thank you very much for the concluding words. Yeah, so let's work together and let's use all the opportunities and create more opportunities for research management and innovation management, actually. So before I let you go to the coffee break, I would like to ask, first of all, I would like to thank all our speakers for coming here and sharing their thoughts with us. So a big applause to all of them again. And of course, a big applause to the online participants and the participants present here. And then I would like to invite you for a family picture. So please come here, and we would like to make a professional photography having every one of you on board and present it everywhere, on social media, on website, everywhere. So please come here, and then you can go to the coffee break.